This is War and Peace from One Small Step Games. It's the game of the Napoleonic Wars, 1805 to 1815. This is the situation at the end of 1805. The most significant thing is the French have managed to knock Austria out of the war by conquering them, capturing both their capitals. Now, this isn't an easy thing to do. Some people may play 1805 and think, oh God, I can't get anywhere near achieving it. It's not easy. It's very, very easy to actually become bogged down in a war in Austria around Vienna, which goes on all the way through winter. Now, we only just managed to do it. The mistake I made was letting Charles's army drag Napoleon away for a battle around here. Admittedly, Napoleon won it and routed the army of Charles and ended that particular threat to our flank. But at the same time, it really left the push on Vienna on a shoestring. Now, Davo managed to capture the city, and then the Russians arrived, and the heroic defence of Vienna and the bridges across the Danube actually saved the day. And then the French were able to snap up Budapest fairly easy, but it did leave them yet again absolutely, completely exposed. So the Russians and the British are still at war. Prussians are still neutral against effectively an alliance of France and Spain. In Spain, the Spanish attempted to attack Portugal. Portugal switched over to the special production system, and the British and Portuguese were able to push back the Spanish invasion force by winning a battle near Lisbon. They've still got a problem with Spanish units occupying a couple of their cities, which is making production really difficult for the Portuguese. British building up an army should be able to bring an army across to Portugal soon, but they've only got one commander. Well, I say one commander, they've got a couple of leader zero commanders which are pretty much useless, but they have got Uxbridge around, but he's only a level 1 commander, so that'll help a bit. The situation really is you just got to hang on in Spain, Portugal area, and just because the French aren't going to be moving their armies into Spain. Right. They could do, but they're not going to at this particular point. They're more interested in containing the Russians and what's going to happen to the Prussians. Now, I'll have to check Prussian rules, because Prussia did actually jump into the war on their own stupidly and declare war on Napoleon. Admittedly, he did provoke him a bit, but we'll see about the Prussian rules for the campaign game. But at the moment, French are just going to try and consolidate their positions in Central Europe with an eye to attacking the Prussians and making sure that the Russians stay either within their borders or within the Austrian Russian hinterland area. Other things that have happened, the French have been annoying the British somewhat by commerce raiding, and they've got it to a stage where the British have to have a fleet stationed in the global area to try and stop this commerce raiding. British had an added objective. They threw a 6 on their attrition roll, which didn't help them at all, but the British have got the ability to repair fleets at sea, which the French and Spanish don't have. The British have got a massive advantage naval morale, and they've got the only naval leader on the board. So things aren't going brilliantly for the British at sea at the moment. So the Austrians are conquered, as I said. As the French, we've enforced the Peace of Pressburg. That gives us a couple of things. It gives us Venice, which became part of Northern Italian Republic. It allowed us to form Dalmatia, with its capital in Trieste. The French took over Innsbruck, which cuts down the Austrian reinforcements while they're neutral. There is a rule that Austria and France will go to war again within 12 months, which is part of the campaign system. Normally what happens when you're conquered, you'll be, as a neutral, you'll be bringing all the units out of your force pool, and as soon as you've emptied your force pool, you can effectively go to war with somebody. Anything else that's worth saying? Oh yeah, I've actually done the force pool adjustments for 1806. One thing I haven't done is the foreign war things, because you can end up with the Russians at war with the Turks. I think they can have as many of those as possible. It's not just one war in the 10-year period. You can have multiples. You can have a war with the Swedes, between Swedes and Russia. There's a possibility. There's an Irish rebellion in this game. I'll have to check out the rules for that, because that's new. And you've also got the possibility of Britain and America going to war, but that can only happen once. As I believe the Northern War with Sweden and Russia can only happen once. So all in all, the French are looking all right. They've brought the Kingdom of Naples on board by capturing Naples itself. They've got, as I said, Trieste and Dalmatia in as a minor. And they need to have a look at Kingdom of getting the Grand Duchy of Poland and Kingdom of Poland into play. But I think you have to knock Prussia out by conquering them first to do that. Anyway, so all in all, Napoleon's looking pretty happy, even though his army basically achieved a great victory. But my God, they pushed it to the edge. That could easily have gone wrong.